this. So I'm going to get a skewer to clip it down. Can you see this looking gorgeous, right?
Yes,
That's right. Let's play the salsa. Yep. You know, after eating the burger, you can just enjoy the salsa. So, I'm going to pick this burger one after the other to drop on top of this beautiful salsa. Boom. You know, it has to rest. Resting. Okay, you can see what we have. Rice cake burger resting on salsa.
Oh my God.
That means you can use your rice to develop a lot of recipes. Of course, this is the normal masa we know in the nut, but in a different way.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is
beautiful.
It's so classic.
This is beautiful. So let's go with the tasting.
Of course. Guys, I can't wait to chop this duduket thing. So can I go?
Sure.
Oh my God. That's why my heart does do like duduket.
Yeah.
Duduket.
You're the creator. You should let me eat
She's
it.
copying me.
This one right here. Where is the mug of tea?
Which of?
It's not ready.
Oh my God. So please, I can't wait to also taste this.
Wow, the mix of spices from that salsa I just finished eating is still lingering in my mouth. You know, that spiciness of the ginger and also the freshness of all the vegetables that, you know, she incorporated to bring that out. Well, that has been our time out with Chef Fatima. Surely there is no stopping this high flyer who has decided to push through all obstacles to persevere and leave a trail that will lead many women alike in Nigeria and across the world into recognizable success. Stay safe. COVID-19 is still out there. Bye.
This is NTA International.
Hey beautiful, your eyes, your smile are all begging me to take you home tonight. Now reading page 3. Experience unlimited superfast internet access from Intel 4G.
Intel. Live more.
Welcome to Abuja, the place that unites Nigeria.
Good evening and welcome to Nationwide Today. I'm Elizabeth Omori. The Senate has noted with satisfaction the assent of President Muhammadu Buhari to the Banks and Other Financial Institutions Act 2020 BOFI Act. A statement by the Chairman, Senate Committee on Media and Publicity, Ajibola Bashir, says the BOFI Act follows many other bills passed by the Senate on critical areas of the economy which are relevant to the nation's development. He explained that the assent has effectively repealed the 1991 edition and it is expected to rejuvenate the financial system and enhance the development of the economy, such as quality banking and ensure recovery of non-performing loans. Senator Bashir noted that the Senate, under the leadership of the President of the Senate, Ahmed Lawan, has resolved to work tirelessly and update Nigeria's outdated laws to ensure that they're vibrant and in consonance with modern-day economic reality. The federal government has promised to support the Chartered Institute of Certified Secretaries and Reporters of Nigeria to enable them contribute maximally to national development. Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Boss Mustafa, gave the promise during the 33rd National Conference of the Institute in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State. John Paul Alumina reports.
With enormous benefits such as food sufficiency, reduction of youth restiveness, partnership in agricultural regeneration, as well as promotion of enhanced exports, women and youth are being given opportunities in 10 different value chains of rice, oil palm, maize, cotton, and poultry, among others. This development is expected to generate revenue and feed agro-industries in the state.
Our state, therefore, is taking the lead in the agro-industrial revolution. And this is the only way we can create jobs and reduce youth restiveness and allow young people to realize their full of potential.
We are going to introduce the regenerative agriculture that will even add more value to the food produced in Cross River State.
I want to assure you that through the partner banks, Central Bank will ensure that these 10 value chains work, and they will work for everyone to see.
There were presentations on regenerative agriculture and a facility tour to the noodles and chicken processing factories at the Ayade Industrial Park. In Calabar, Paul Abel, NTA News.
Apologies for that mix-up. Moving on now, Benue State government has risen against illegal revenue collectors in the state by donating 2 Hilux vans to the task force of the State Internal Generate Revenue Service to effectively calm down on the perpetrators. Governor Samuel Autumn, who handed over the keys to the chairman, BIRS, Andrew Ayabam, says it is a red alert for illegal revenue collectors to quit the act. Charles Abba has details.
Over time, activities of illegal revenue collectors have continued to dwindle funds generated internally by the Benue State government through its authorized agency, BIRS. Perpetrators of this act are usually on the roads, markets, motor parks, and other places they consider fertile for the business. Governor Samuel Otom, who condemned the act, said it robs legitimate taxpayers, positive impact, and retards development. The governor indicated that no evaders of tax or illegal revenue collector would be spared.
We decided to step up our revenue generation effort, and part of this is to block all the leakages that are existing as of now. If any stakeholder is involved in illegal revenue collection, I can assure you that we're not going to spare such people.
Chairman, Benue State Internal Revenue Service, Andrew Ayabam, who took delivery of the vehicles, appreciated the gesture, saying it would help the agency to effectively deliver on its mandate.
Work diligently to ensure that we deliver to you so that you deliver to the people of Benue State.
The agency is to work together with security operatives, especially the police, to bring perpetrators of illegal revenue collection and tax evasion to book. In Makudi, Charles Abba, NTA News.
An out-crime fighting Abuja allegedly involved in illicit oil dealing seized by the Nigerian Navy may be forfeited to the federal government on conclusion of investigation. Commander Sulaiman Kachi Mohammed disclosed this while handing over the badge to the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, EFCC, in Rivers State. Jenny Bassi reports.
The badge, named MLJ Favor 1, was intercepted and seized by NNS Pathfinder Patrol Team on 13 October for suspected involvement in oil bunkering activities around Abisa Creek in Degema local government area of Rivers State. The barge is laden with unspecified volume of petroleum product suspected to be illegally refined automotive gas oil without any suspects. Handing over the badge to EFCC, Commander Suleiman Mohammed noted that Navy is continuing on its massive campaign to rid rivers waterway of crude oil theft, illegal oil refining, and pipeline vandalism.
Zero tolerance to crude oil theft, illegal oil bunkering, and other illicit activities within the maritime environment.
Receiving the badge, Deputy Detective Superintendent EFCC Hasikie Lot said the anti-graft agency will investigate the allegation.
Obviously, there were no suspects arrested alongside the badge, but further investigations will be carried out. We're going to write to relevant agencies to know if the badge has been registered. If otherwise, it's going to be forfeited finally to the federal government.
The commander further enjoined those behind maritime crime to refrain from it, stressing that the Navy will not relent in its war against oil theft and related crimes. In Port Harcourt, Jenny Bassi, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. Time now to join Sulaiman in our Kaduna Network Center for more reports. Hello, Sulaiman.
Thank you very much and welcome to Kaduna Network Center. Nigeria, like many other nations across the world, are taking drastic measures to defeat terrorism and violent extremism. In doing so, security operatives are expected to respect human rights and the rules of engagement. Haruna Mohammed was at a capacity building workshop organized by the National Security Advisor, meant to keep security operatives abreast with global rules of engagement.
Violent extremism and terrorism, a Siamese twins destroying people and society across the world. These snowballed into theater of war and covert operations spanning decades. Nigeria is not isolated from the pandemic, with the northeast and some part of northwest, as well as central, becoming flashpoints of various forms of atrocities fueled by extremism. In the theater of war lies the almighty human rights that must be respected and making sure that security operatives play by the rules. The Office of the National Security Advisor put up this workshop.
The workshop is, an endeavor to fill the gap, the human rights gap, in terms of, its trigger for violent extremism.
So this is a new approach to encourage law enforcement agencies to provide services on the basis of respect for the human rights which of course you know is enshrined and guaranteed by our constitution.
Within the 3 days set aside for the workshop, critical stakeholders responsible for implementing Nigeria's security policy plans are expected to expand their wealth of experience, especially with regards to human rights. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
And security operatives, community leaders and volunteers have thought out new measures of tackling crime and protect lives and property at a 2-day workshop in Kaduna. Haruna Mohammed reports that the workshop was facilitated by the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps, Kaduna State Command.
Heinous crimes, banditry and kidnapping, ethno-religious crises and related conflict phenomenon that demands a sophisticated approach in tackling. As the criminals devise new method in carrying out their ugly acts, so the conflict becomes mercurial. But the fact is that the security agents are not folding their arms and watch. This workshop is therefore an instance where the gatekeepers come together and expand the frontiers of their knowledge of crime fighting. Top of the list of the area of study was the intelligence gathering, early warning signs, response, as well as conflict prevention methodology.
The most important thing is reducing the crime rate. The most important thing is bringing in peace in the country. So there is nothing like I am a policeman, he is a civil defender, the other one is an immigration officer. Of course, where there is peace, we should ensure that lasting development is going to ensure.
In a message to the participants, the governor of Kaduna State, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, reiterated the need to integrate peace-building mechanisms in the security operations.
So I believe we as residents of Kaduna should embrace peace at all times. We should avoid conflict, and also if there's any concern, we should know the appropriate quarters to report to. We want to be able to strengthen early warning and early response systems in the state.
The 2-day workshop also served as a platform to create synergy with non-state actors who have won the confidence of the society so as to scale the hurdles of mistrust. In Kaduna, I am Haruna Mohammed, NTA News.
Thank you, Haruna. More reports ahead after the break.
The counsel of our fathers. I believe we have fought one civil war too many in this country. So those who experience it will run away from it.
Nigerian youths, let's build our nation together.
The Governing Council of the International Association of Research Scholars and Administrators cordially invites educators, researchers, economists, financial analysts, manufacturers, policymakers, and concerned citizens to attend its first National Education Research and Economic Conference, NEREC 2020, Education and Economic Challenges, Opportunities, and Responses in the Coronavirus Era. Guest speakers include Professor Omoshewo Ore, Professor Jude Anthony Ogbulie, Professor Osadolo Orlando, Engineer Akin Olateru, DRPC panelists, among others. Date, November 25 to 26, 2020. Venue, NECA Event House, CBD, Alausa, Ikeja, Lagos, Nigeria. Fee, 25,000 Naira per participant. For further information, please call 080-6981-4073 or visit www.iarsa.org.ng.
International is with you in your living room, office, everywhere and anywhere. We provide the company you desire in terms of balanced and up-to-date news, programs, and the best of entertainment. Tune in to DSTV channel 251, GoTV channel 91, Freeview UK channel 264, or you can download www.visiontv.co.uk. App for iOS or Android, Intelsat 901 degree east. You can also see us on Facebook and YouTube for quality content on the go. NTA International, Africa's window to the world.
These days, people get their news and information from more media sources than ever before. Some of the news and information given are fake, unverified, doctored, and manufactured to create confusion, stir disaffection, and cause disunity. Before you believe or share any news, ask yourself, is this real? Is it from a credible source? Is it verified or verifiable? Fake news is dangerous, whether you do it for fun or for political gains. Real people can get hurt. Fake news, don't create it, don't spread it.
This is a public service announcement from NTA.
Thanks for staying with us. Now to a bit of road safety. As the Federal Road Safety Corps joins the world to mark International Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims, Nigerians have been cautioned to imbibe safe driving while on the roads and highways in order to drastically reduce the spate of road crashes. This was the message at the commemoration of the 2020 World Remembrance Day of Road Traffic Victims. Oyeyemi Ajayi has details.
The road, always busy with vehicles, pedestrians and cyclists. It is one of the major means of transportation, but also with the highest record of deaths and fatalities, mostly blamed on careless driving, mechanical faults and even the road itself. The December 2018 Global Status Report on Road Safety, launched by the World Health Organization, says road traffic injuries are now the leading killer of people aged between 5 to 29 years old. This is one objective towards the commencement of the World Day of Remembrance for Road Traffic Victims, targeted at drawing attention to the scale of emotional and economic devastation caused by road crashes and for giving recognition to the suffering of road crash victims and the work of support and rescue services. It is not a different story in Nigeria, as the Federal Road Safety Corps annually marks the day, reminding Nigerians on the need to always be safety conscious on the road.
This year's theme, remember, support and act. So we need to remember those people we lost in the road traffic crashes and to support government and agencies to be able to continue to mitigate the issues we have around road traffic crash.
The Decade of Action for Road Safety 2011 to 2020, officially proclaimed by the UN General Assembly on March 2010, seeks to save millions of lives by building road safety management capacity, improving the safety of road infrastructure, further developing the safety of vehicles, enhancing the behavior of road users, and improving post-crash response.
Nigerians on the road are in sight. They are not really helping matters. And our call to everyone is to be road disciplined. Every time we talk about road user behavior, people think it's just one of our cliches, but there is need for us to really emphasize that the public is very mindful of their behavior on the road. It's very pathetic.
However, the Global Status Report on Road Safety indicates that the progress to realize Sustainable Development Goal targets 3.6, which calls for 50% reduction in the number of road traffic deaths by 2020, remains far from sufficient. Hence, all hands must be on deck to achieve these targets, and therefore, the awareness of safe driving must be inculcated by all. In Abuja, Oyeyemi Ajayi, NTA News.
Joining me now in the studio to give more insight on the essence of the day is DCC Charles Edem, Deputy Corps Commander, Federal Road Safety Corps. DCC Charles, it's nice to have you in our studio.
Thank you. Good evening.
All right. WHO December 2018 statistics show that road traffic deaths have reached 1.35 million globally. What could have been the cause?
Well, it's nothing far from the usual driver's behavior on the road, and of course, primarily we blame the drivers for all road traffic crashes. But if we're looking at the cause of road traffic crashes, of course, we're looking at 3 basic factors. We talk about the driver as a human factor. We talk about the vehicle, the mechanical factor, and we equally talk about the environment being the road. But put the 3 together side by side, we see that of all, the most culpable person there is a driver.
Okay.
So, like I said earlier, it has to do with human behavior.
Human behavior. Okay, now, how close is Nigeria in achieving the UN Decade of Action 2020 on zero tolerance on road crashes?
Well, if I say very close, that will sound as if it's a very vague answer, but then I think that's the truth. we are doing everything possible to ensure that we achieve that
goal. Okay. Now, COVID-19 is believed to have brought in many negatives, but can you say that it has reduced road crashes considering the lockdown imposed by the government?
Of course, I would want to say it has reduced, but then COVID-19 is not something we should applaud, but then that's just about the tiniest little benefit we have gotten from COVID-19. Like they say, for everything that happens, there's always a good and a bad side. So that it has reduced the road traffic crash, well, is a little minus we give to COVID-19.
Okay. All right. When we talk about road crashes, overspeeding seemed to be the major factor.
Yes, it is.
Why? Are people not using their speed limiters?
They are, like if you still remember the activities of road safety in the past, 2019, 18, 19, up to 20, we came up with this idea of installation of speed limiting devices on especially the commercial vehicles. And we just discover, sadly, that some of the operators tamper with the calibration of such devices, which is in a way trying to rubbish the whole effort we're doing. But then, of course, we are on top of the game. We have discovered and we are working seriously towards ensuring that the right thing is done.
It's done. Now, let's talk about the issue of compliance. Do drivers really comply? Apart from those that tamper with it, do they comply? How many vehicles really have
that's the thing.
The limiters?
Like we said, we started with the commercial vehicles first, accredited fleet operators. We had about almost 90% compliance level when it comes to registered, accredited fleet operators. So the level of compliance was okay until this recent idea of tampering with the calibration of those speed limiting devices.
Okay. Can you give us statistics of road crashes before COVID-19 and now?
Let's look at...
Are people more careful? Are drivers more careful?
Good. Let's look at between now, January and, third quarter. As at the third quarter of this year, we're looking at the level of about 2,000 and something road traffic crashes, which has resulted in the death of about 1,076 people have been killed in road traffic crash between January and this third quarter that we are in. Sorry, and the third quarter.
Third quarter. Yeah. So as we commemorate the day, what is the message to drivers?
Yes.
Because we can't keep having people dying on roads every day.
Like if we look at the theme of this year's commemoration of the Road Traffic Crash Victims Day, it's talking about, of course, remember, support and act. We try to bring to the limelight the number of people that have been killed, and there are people that have relatives, there are people's mothers, people's fathers, people's brothers, and the rest of it. So there's need for people to have a kind of flashback and, of course, a rethink what happened, what led to this crash, and why did these people die. When we look at those things, and of course, the message will come. So you try now that it has happened, is something we would have avoided, because we say road traffic crashes, of course, are things that we would have avoided if we did the right thing. It's about the choices we make. If you choose to do the right thing at the right time, of course, you can avert these incidents of road traffic crashes. But where people made the wrong choices of maybe overspeeding, overloading the vehicle, doing those things that the law that governs the driving on the road says we shouldn't, of course, you've made the wrong choice, that is what translates into road traffic crashes. So now, if they now remember those wrong choices they make and make conscious effort at redressing those things, of course, the message is clear. They are going to leave.
All right, this is C. Charles Adam, Deputy Corps Public Officer. Thank you so much for coming to our studio.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for enlightening us.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Moving on, the federal government has promised to support the Chartered Institute of Certified Secretaries and Reporters of Nigeria to enable them contribute maximally to national development. John Paul Alumina tells us more.
first national conference and annual general meeting of the Chartered Institute of Secretaries and Reporters, which had the theme, The Role of ICT in Good Corporate Governance, brought together members from the 36 states of the Federation and FCT. The Secretary to the Government of the Federation, represented by the Director of Public Affairs Department in SGF Office, Veronica Agugu, while commending members of the Institute, charged them to put the lessons learned from the conference into practice to improve their output in their various offices.
I wish to reiterate that the Office of the Secretary to Government of the Federation will continue to support the activities of the Chartered Institute of Certified Secretaries.
The registrar, Samuel Ozoma, and the representative of the president of the institute, Favor Nwoko, noted that the conference provided another opportunity for the institute to advance its capacity building and development for future responsibilities.
They should ensure innovation, more creativity, thoughtfulness, and thoroughness in order to improve their level beyond what it was or what it is now, so that they can assume higher responsibilities.
High points of the event were induction of new members and presentation of awards to some personalities, including the Secretary to the Government of the Federation.
I am taking home a lot of experience.
By upgrading ourselves to be acquainted with the present day technology.
The highest point of achievement, to appreciate what God has used us to contribute.
Some resource persons gave lectures on ICT and measures to improve good corporate governance. In Uyo, John Paul Alumona, NTA News.
Let's now head to Benin, where Obey is standing by to give us a situation report on security. Hello, Obey.
Many thanks for joining us in Benin. Governor Godwin Obaseki says the next 4 years of his administration will focus on restructuring Edo State. This was at the Thanksgiving service for a successful inauguration of the governor and his deputy, Philip Shaibu, to mark the beginning of a new tenure. Elizabeth Amoko reports.
The Thanksgiving service gathered religious and traditional heads as well as politicians across parties. Archbishop of Benin Metropolitan See, Augustine Akubeze, wants Edo people to respect constituted authority, even as he appealed to the governor to fight all forms of criminality in the state.
The government of Edo State must ensure that the voices of Nigerians in Edo State that are crying for constitutional restructuring that provides for accountability and leadership with responsibility from the grassroots is projected.
What the best from the government, we must be willing to do our part.
Governor Baseki, his deputy, their wives, only standing member of the cabinet, Osarajo Oge, friends and well-wishers danced to the altar with their seats.
In order to try and reduce our lamentation, I just want to begin to do things for ourselves. That way, we will have started the process of restructuring the country.
Prayers were offered for a hitch-free administration.
What we ask, both the secret and the open, to give us answers.
So we just pray that our God will crown our efforts with success. All the parties have resolved to cooperate in the interest of our citizens.
One crucial point of the event was the launching of the Edo Anthem in Benin. Elizabeth Amako, NTA News.
Elizabeth, it's over to you now for more Nationwide.
So much, Obey. The Imo State Governor, Hope Uzodimma, has assured of his cooperation with the legislature in order to fast-track development in the state. He made this known when he officially received the newly elected Speaker of the Imo State House of Assembly in Government House, Owerri. Bright Ebucho reports.
20 out of the 27 elected members of the Imo State House of Assembly at an emergency plenary session impeached the Speaker, Chiji Collins, and elected Paul Emezim, member representing Ono Imo State constituency, who is also from Okigwe senatorial zone, as his replacement. According to the Deputy Speaker, Amarachi Nwayaun, the impeachment became necessary following the need to achieve a more effective and efficient assembly. Governor Hope Uzodinma, while receiving the newly elected speaker, stressed the importance of working in harmony in the best interest of the state. He further reassures of non-interference by the executive arm of government and support to enable them execute their legislative duties effectively.
On behalf of the executive arm and government of the Imo State, I want to warmly welcome you. I'm pleased to continue to cooperate with you, so that together we will serve the people of Imo and grow democracy in this part of Nigeria.
The newly elected Speaker of the 9th Imo State House of Assembly, Paul Emeziem, promised to ensure that the House will henceforth legislate on matters that will have direct impact on the people.
There is joy in my heart, and it's so pain in my heart that I can hardly find qualified words enough to express the way I feel.
In Owerri, Bright Ebuchu, NTA News.
To peace talks now, a group known as Ebonyi APC stakeholders and elders for peace at the end of their meeting in Abakaliki has, amongst other things, agreed to lay aside their differences, work together for their interest and that of the party. Chika Okori reports.
Assessing the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari, who has surpassed records of previous governments in Nigeria, especially as it concerns power generation and growing agriculture to achieve food sufficiency, as well, forming a formidable front that will take full control of political arrangements in Ebonyi State, where issues on the front burner at this gathering tagged Ebonyi APC stakeholders and elders for peace. The Executive Director, Administration and Training, NTA, Dr. Steve Ebo, is the chief convener of this delegate assembly.
Well, the essence of this meeting is first and foremost to let our people know that APC is alive and thriving in Ebonyi State. Secondly, we want to use this medium to congratulate our leader, Muhammadu Buhari. He's doing very well. Despite the numerous challenges we face, which is a global thing, he has done well to move Nigeria to the next level.
Nigeria has become self-sufficient in food security, and that is the biggest achievement of any nation or any government. That you can feed yourself is a wondrous achievement.
Assuaging fears that defectors who may join the party as registration commences soon, speakers encourage the party faithful to rather reposition for greater opportunities ahead.
Is that the party should stop recognizing the leadership which court have sacked.
This delegate assembly is advising the public not to recognize any faction of the party as it was earlier nullified by courts of competent jurisdiction. In Abakaliki, Chika Okori, NTA News.
In the meantime, the former military president, General Ibrahim Babangida, has commended the Nigeria Institute of Quantity Surveyors for its professional contributions to nation building. General Babangida gave the commendation at his hilltop residence in Minna when he received the national executive as part of the pre-annual general meeting of the institute. Sulaiman Kodogi reports.
Ibrahim Babangida, who is also the grand patron of the institute, enjoins them to maintain the standard established. He explains the need for the regulatory authorities to be fully enforced for the future generations to move the country forward.
To maintain the standard that they have so far established in the country, and also the regulatory authorities should be fully enforced for the younger generations coming.
The national president of the institute, Muhammad Abatwa, at the pre-annual general meeting identified the refusal of some clients to engage the services of professionals as responsible for the increased cases of collapsed building in Nigeria.
If you end up engaging the services of quacks, people who are not registered, you may not have any remedy in case of collapse because all your investment will just go down the drain.
There were goodwill messages focusing on the continued partnership and collaboration for the required growth and development. In Minna, Sulaiman Kodogi, NTA News.
This is Nationwide on NTA. The Center of Excellence is our next stop on Nationwide, and Adiola will be our guide. Good to see you, Adiola.
to see you too, Elizabeth. The recent #EndSARS protest, which snowballed into an unprecedented violence leading to monumental loss, has left an indelible mark on the lives of families of police officers affected by the incident. Nusa Osula reports that families of affected police officers lamented their losses during a condolence visit by the wife of the Deputy Inspector General of Police Force Criminal Investigation and Intelligence Department, Catherine Ogbisi, to affected stations and barracks in the state.
Arson, looting, killings, and all sorts of violence have trailed the once peaceful protests, particularly the burning of police stations by the aggrieved youths. Families of slain police officers, as well as those whose property and businesses were destroyed as a result of the action of arsonists and hoodlums who took advantage of the situation to perpetrate their evil agenda, lament on how the incident has affected their lives.
Things that I lost inside that house is more than, if I will calculate it, is more than up to 10 million. My market, they even carry my counter.
It's like I'm starting all over again. I've lost everything I've ever worked for. So it's like I'm starting all over again. So I need, if the government can assist me to give me part of what I've lost.
I want the government to restore all my property, everything I have in the shop. I have a lot of property, freezers, generators, everything. And the shop also, if government would like it, they can build this for us.
The wife of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, who visited families of police officers who died during the recent unrest in the state, assured them of adequate attention to their welfare and destroyed accommodation.
It's the responsibility of the whole nation. Policemen are human beings. They are policemen. So they have blood flowing through their veins. They are people's husbands. They are people's fathers.
The State Commissioner of Police, Hakeem Odumosu, said that this will go a long way to boost the morale of police officers and their families. In Lagos, Nusa Osula, NTA News.
Now to water transportation. Regulators and stakeholders in water transportation are always quick to emphasize that safety on the waterways is permanent. However, compromising safety has led to mishaps resulting in loss of lives. These, among other issues, continue to dampen the spirit of prospective passengers on the waterways as available alternative to road transportation. Dr. Oguyemi looks at some of the steps taken to improve confidence in the sector.
Lagos roads have continued to suffer congestion, resulting in delays arising from traffic. With only about 120,000 passengers plying the waterways annually, according to the state authority, out of the over 22 million residents that populate the state, generating traffic to the waterways has remained a challenge.
We can do better to make this safer for us, but all things being equal, this is the best means of transportation now.
While the regulatory authority at both the federal and state level have continued training programs, they have also been checking life jackets and replacing them with new ones.
We know them, we know their activity, we know what safety rules and regulations are they following on our waterways.
The informal sector moves about 75% of the humans and the goods that are moving across the Lagos inland waterways. So this is a formidable sector. I mean, it's a formidable sector, but at the same time, not very little investment is going into that sector. Very little, whether from the government or the private sector. But there's a lot of support coming from NIWA, LASWA, and all the other agencies now.
I also ran into some officials of the Lagos State Safety Commission at one of the jetties.
You are here as long as possible.
Yes.
To ensure safety measures are complied.
Yes.
These efforts, if well implemented, according to the National Inland Waterways Authority, will guarantee confidence. In Lagos, Dotson Oguyemi, NTA News.
So much from here. It's back to the nation's capital, where Elizabeth has more on Nationwide. Good afternoon.
Thank you, Adeola. Climate crisis like the coronavirus pandemic is a global threat that knows no borders. United Nations Secretary General said this at a virtual meeting with the heads of Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Adebola Brooksland Sunday reports.
Climate change, analysts say, acts as a threat multiplier, as its resulting effects can create and aggravate political, economic and social tensions, potentially contributing to cycles of poverty, violence and migration. Antonio Guterres said the Paris Agreement and the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development underpin the work of the United Nations and should be central to national decision-making.
Strong engagement of SCO member states.
The UN scribe called for stronger ties with the Shanghai Cooperation Organization in tackling climate change and geopolitical tensions amid COVID-19.
The tide is turning. The European Union, Japan, the Republic of Korea, together with more than 110 other countries, have committed to net zero emissions by 2050 and China before 2060. I call on more governments to join this net zero coalition and to align their COVID-19 recovery plans and national determined contribution for climate action with this objective.
The UN chief said regular exchanges between the United Nations and the organization provide ways to enhance cooperation on regional issues and appealed for global solidarity in the wake of the Armenia and Azerbaijan conflicts.
I look forward to your further advocacy and action to end hostilities around the world before the end of this year. When people fight each other, the only winner is the virus.
He commended their firm commitment to inclusive multilateralism and the principles of the United Nations Charter. Adebola Brooksland Sunday, NTA News.
As countries mark the World Kindness Day, a non-governmental organization has extended a hand of kindness to widows and families of Nigeria's fallen hero, the Nigerian Legion.
Kindness is a fundamental part of the human condition which bridges the divides of race, religion, politics, gender, and zip codes. The World Kindness Day is celebrated to highlight good deeds in the community, focusing on the positive power and the common thread of kindness which binds us as a nation. The Kindness Guild of Nigeria, under the auspices of World Kindness Movement, in commemoration of the day, brought succor to the families of Nigeria's fallen heroes who fought for Nigeria.
God is never tired of taking care of us, so we should not be tired of showing love.
The reason why Nigeria is Nigeria today is because some people fought for it. Some people fought some battles that we were not directly involved, but they fought for us, and some lost their lives in the course of this. And the families of those that lost their lives are facing quite a lot of issues.
Beyond the items brought and distributed, the spirit behind the kind gesture was lauded by beneficiaries.
We are really appreciative, like I already said, we are grateful.
This kind of gesture that is being shown to us today is going to go a long way in our family, in my family in particular.
Showing kindness irrespective of gender, race or political affiliations was the general consensus here.
Meanwhile, Qatar Charity Organization has provided livelihood support to 135 beneficiaries who were selected across Yobe State. Mustafa Yusuf Musa reports that apart from the empowerment support, Governor Maimala Boni also laid the foundation stone for the construction of an Islamic center in Damaturu, the state capital, to be carried out by the charity organization.
Among the 135 beneficiaries of the Qatar Charity Organization Empowerment Initiative is a 26-year-old Aisha Mohammed, mother of 5, who received a wheelchair to enable her conduct her outdoor activities with ease after spending 2 years without a wheelchair. Just like the former, Aisha Mohammed and Adamu Alibuni are also happy to get a wheelchair, with other beneficiaries going home with either grinding or swim machines in addition to livestock. Performing the distribution exercise, Governor Maimala Boni saying it is in line with government strategy to provide means of survival to IDPs and returnees, as well as vulnerable groups in the state.
We wish to express our gratitude to the organization for the donation of livelihood materials such as grinding machines, sewing machines, wheelchairs, and livestock to 135 beneficiaries, which I also have the pleasure to plug off their distributions simultaneously.
The Executive Secretary, State Emergency Management Agency, Dr. Mohammed Goje, said partnership with national and international humanitarian organizations have over the years provided support to IDPs and wants more of such collaboration to improve the lives of affected people in the state.
Our people are resilient people, they are patient people, and we are building their resilience, especially now that they were transiting from the humanitarian to development nexus. And I hope more of this will come, while we will ensure monitoring the usage of these items household to house.
The occasion also witnessed the laying of foundation stone by Governor Bulabuni and the director of Qatar charity organization, Mustahamdi Said Mohammed Abdu, for the construction of a charity center at the Red Bricks Housing Estate in Damaturu. Mustafa Yusuf Musa, NTA News.
Governor Lalong reads Riot Act to contractors. For detail of this and more, let's turn it in Jos.
Thank you, Elizabeth, and welcome to Jos. Worried by the slow pace of work on various government projects, Plateau State Governor Simon Lalong met with major and subcontractors handling the projects to address concerns on the legacy projects across the state. Abdulwahab Babankanti was there.
Health and education are critical components of human capital development. In recognition of this, the legacy projects of the Lalong administration focus attention on providing healthcare facilities and schools across the 17 local government areas. To ensure that this is achieved, the Plateau State government awarded contracts for the realization of its objectives. Raised by the slow pace of work, the governor brought together contractors and subcontractors to chart way forward.
We wanted to have the meeting to understand ourselves, to know the problems, and then to kickstart from here and know the extent, because we must give ourselves deadlines. There are some of these projects that will not take us, it's not supposed to take us another 2 months to finish.
The governor, who noted that though he inherited uncompleted projects, he wouldn't want to hand over to the next administration uncompleted.
Because it's not easy for people to continue with other people's projects. Even this hall that you are sitting, if I had done like other people, the hall would have been abandoned.
He assured that all local governments will benefit from his legacies, as he will soon commence strict monitoring and supervision of the project. In Jos, Abdulwahab Babankanti, NTA News.
In line with the objective of her pet project aimed at improving the well-being of women and children, wife of the President, Aisha Buhari, has donated sanitary items to women in Plateau State. Wife of the Plateau State Governor, Regina Lalong, presented the items to women in 2 primary health care centers and the Jos University Teaching Hospital. Bilkis Enuhu has more.
The distribution of items commenced at the Primary Health Care Center in Jos South Local Government Area, where elated women appreciated the wife of the President for the gesture. The team was also at Township Primary Health Care Center in Jos North Local Government Area, where the same gesture was replicated with a call on women to take care of their health and well-being.
We sincerely appreciate our dear mother, wife of the President, Dr. Mrs. Aisha Muhammad Buhari, for her continuous support to women in Nigeria. As we all know, this is not the first time we are receiving items from our dear mother, and so we want to appreciate her for her kind gesture to women in Nigeria.
At the Jos University Teaching Hospital, Mrs. Lalong and the Future Assured team were received by Chief Medical Director Professor Edmond Balwan.
These are where women, because where children are, they are women. So we say substantially.
Some of the patients appreciated the gesture and prayed God to reward the efforts which has brought smiles to their faces. Special Assistant to the President on Events, Zainab Kasim, led the Future Assured team amongst other dignitaries. In Jos, Bilkis Nuhu, NTA News.
That's it from Jos. Nationwide will continue in Abuja with Elizabeth after this break.
Dialogue, empathy, love, and unity. These are vital components of nation building.
For all to be well, we appeal that we should refrain from volatile, provocative, inciting messages and language.
Let's build and not destroy.
NTA News 24. A 24-hour news station brings to you news and happenings 7 days a week.
News at 10 a.m., news update at 11 and 1 p.m.
News desk at 3 p.m. and 6 p.m. and late evening news at 11 p.m.
Follow us on any of our platforms and keep abreast of events and current affairs within and outside our shores.
We are on DSTV channel 419, GoTV channel 46,
Star Times channel 101 and Free TV channel 703. Join us.
Do you know that social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad? Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
My name is Nando Jamda
Muhammad.
Stevita
Hussein Musa. Roduna Joel Finji. Said Musa John.
I'm a carpenter. I've been doing this for more than 8 years now.
And I said that plantain. Nakai Kimami Shekara Uku.
I've been selling my tomatoes for about 10 years now, and I do it for a better Nigeria.
And I do it for a better Nigeria.
Now, when the Sana and the Moon Nigeria to take about Nigeria to and you can see how we are doing our small little work to make Nigeria great.
As you can see, I'm a technician and I'm doing it to help myself and to help my generation.
Business.
For a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Thanks for staying with the NTA. Ladi Bala, reporter with the Nigerian Television Authority, has emerged the president of the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists. The #1 seat of the association is one of the 10 executive positions contested by 23 candidates. Fatima Usman reports from Mina, venue of the 10th Triennial Delegates Conference.
The executive members of the Nigerian Association of Women Journalists is made up of 19 people. Ladi Bala of the Nigerian Television Authority succeeded in clinching the highest seat after beating 3 other contestants with 439 of the 823 votes cast.
Helen Odofa is hereby returned as the new National Secretary of NAWAJ. William Ogabo is hereby returned as the Deputy National President of NAWAJ. Ladi Bala, having secured the majority of the votes, is hereby returned and declared as the new National President of NAWAJ.
Other positions contested are National Vice President, Vice President Zones C and E, National and Zonal Secretaries, Zone C and D, National Treasurer, as well as Internal Auditor, while 9 other executives, including the Financial Secretary, returned unopposed.
NAWAJ should speak for the less privileged. NAWAJ will be advocating on the issue of sexual and gender-based violence in our society, particularly the issue of rape, which has become very, very endemic. So these are some of the areas that will be doing things differently, apart from just building the capacity of our members.
The newly elected officials were subsequently inaugurated by the national executives of the umbrella body of the association, the Nigerian Union of Journalists, led by the president, Chris Isiguzo. In Mina, Fatima Usman, NTA News.
Congratulations to our very own Ladi Bala. Now, experts in the tourism and culture industry are strategizing on ways of rebranding and promoting the sector in Nigeria. This was made known at the 2020 National Institute for Hospitality and Tourism Annual Master Lecture Series in Abuja. Oina Kaloka tells us more.
Record shows that the tourism sector accounts for 1 in every 10 jobs globally. With the impact of COVID-19 affecting the sector, federal government said it is committed to prioritizing the industry for economic growth.
This sector is one of the key sectors in Mr. President's and this administration's program to lift millions of Nigerians out of poverty.
Experts and key players in the industry advocate for new ideas and skills that will help in repositioning the sector.
The time has come that we need to reduce talking. We need action now. Naivotors is very, very key to development of tourism.
Naihoto should not only concentrate on the hospitality and the hotel industry, but also should go to institutions that attract visitors.
So this standstill has been a time that has given us the advantage for us to think about what we can do better with the little that we have.
Director General Naihoto, Nuru Sani Kangiwa, called for partnership in moving the sector forward.
There are always emerging needs in the industry, so you have to be proactive at all times.
The theme for this year's Master Lecture Series is Sustaining the Gains of Hospitality and Tourism Research in a Challenging World. Oina Kaloka, NTA News.
And that ends Nationwide today. Thank you so much for your time. I'm Elizabeth Omori. Good evening.
That social media is not good or bad, and that it is you who is using it that is either good or bad. Bad social media users spread rumors and fake news without verification. But good social media users stop, verify the information, and reflect before sharing it. Now, are you a good social media user? Stop the spread of fake news. Verify the authenticity of your source for a better Nigeria.
This message is from the National Orientation Agency.
Hello and welcome. It's time for another interesting package of
Everything Music.
Angelina, you dey cool in my temperature. If you call, I go come deliver.
This is Talking Movies.
In times of old, the world was full of wonder.